we're good. Okay.
Give it 1 moment. How much time do we have?
Well,
Oof, okay, we're fine.
we're fine?
Yeah, yeah.
Like 3:02?
Yeah.
Okay, we're good.
Exactly 3:02.
Lovely. For context, we're trying to shoot in the tea house about 30 minutes before we have to go to church. So this is going to be a cute one, a quick one. But hello, welcome to the Sunday Artist, where I get to lovingly interview my friends.
Terrifying.
Who happen to be hobby artists. And so today I get to talk to Edward, who will talk us through some of the things that he does creatively, and I'll get to pick his brain on what he thinks about making art and how he fits it into his life. And yeah, so hi Ed.
Hello.
What do you want to talk about in terms of your creativity? What are your hobbies? What are you pursuing?
What is my creative pursuit?
Yes, what is your creative pursuit?
I suppose it's the ultimately the pursuit of emotion, right? I know. It's more precisely the ability to like provoke emotion upon others.
Yes.
Through my own emotion.
It's a transfer.
Exactly. It's I mean, they say what a picture paints 1,000 words.
Yes.
But how many pictures can 1,000 words paint?
Don't ask me that. Don't ask me math.
It's rhetorical. It's
Okay, so you're focusing on words there.
Yeah.
Is that primarily where you would say your pursuits are?
Yeah, I would say so. Primarily words and putting them in together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The tambourine thing last night aside.
Of course, the tambourine at the metal concert. Let's go a bit crazy, but it's.
All right. Then you're a teacher.
Yes. That's correct.
And so you focus a lot on writing, obviously, as part of your work. But how then would you? Is your writing then that you do as part of your creative pursuit, is that distinctly separate?
Well, I mean, for context, I'm a computer science teacher, not like an English teacher, and so it very much it's a tricky thing to fit in. But for the most part, no, it's completely down to personal life, and it's how I have lived experiences which can then build out this work, this art. Occasionally, I will share it with the children. They do quite like that. If I'm ever in a form class, and it's meant to be quiet reading or something, to actually get them to be quiet, I'll go and say, okay, we're good, I'll read this poem. they generally really like that. They absolutely adore it.
That's so sweet.
I know, it's so lovely.
You get a little fan club.
I know.
Oh, okay. So besides outside of school then, do you do things like purposefully to fit writing into your life, or is it more just kind of like as it happens?
I mean, yeah, I think it's something which within life is a very imperative thing to go and add in, right? Mm-hmm. It's the understanding of yourself and the ability to express that to others. I suppose one of my favorite ways of putting it is on a reasonably semi-unknown poem by W.B. Yeats, which is very interesting to him because he's a very famous poet.
Yeah.
It's called Words.
Words.
And a lot of people don't really like it that much, but it's this idea where it goes through each stanza is a different stage, and it's this development of him within a poetical sense. And he's using his wife as like a vessel to go and talk about this. I had this thought a while ago, my darling cannot understand what I would do or say in this blind or bitter land, things like that. And then in the very last stanza, it goes, would I have not done so, who would say, what could have shaken from the sieve, if I had led poor words astray and been content to live?
Content to live without putting his identity into words?
Correct.
Yes.
It's this idea that his darling cannot understand him.
Yeah.
Right? And he has that struggling feeling, which then develops over time, and he says, well, words obey my call. I've come into it all. And then in the very last stanza, he's reflective upon that. He says, well, what if I didn't? Who would I have become?
if he hadn't put that into, that's quite true. I hadn't thought about that as identity, or writing as a form of like moving his own identity
Exactly.
forward.
It's this idea that, again, it's an identity. It's who you are.
Yeah.
Right? And I suppose, in terms of where I actually get to go and share it, though, I do, of course, get to occasionally share it at school with the adoring fan club
With
of
the
Year 8.
kiddos.
But for the most part, no, I every month or so, sometimes a couple of times a month, I will stand up and awkwardly just spout my words and awkwardly sit back down. And
where do you do that?
sometimes here at the Tea House, they have a poetry event run by Paper Tiger, the publishing company, and we'll come in. There'll be not really a competition. It's just people coming up and sharing what they have.
Yeah.
And then occasionally that will build into something like the Multicultural Book Fair, which is happening in September. And
You're gonna go to that?
yeah, I even have a free ticket somewhere. I think. I do not have a free ticket somewhere. That's not good. It's not good at all. Right?
You can find that later.
I'll find that later. Yeah, quite important. I will find that later.
And you're going to speak at this, you think?
Yes. Yeah. I was invited to come up and actually deliver some poems.
Aw,
But no,
that's really cool.
really
That's so cool. Okay. I mean, maybe you've answered this question already. In addition to sort of identity, is there another way that you would describe creativity? And I guess here I'm more thinking about like your process, or are there things you're trying to achieve? You're just sort of flowing with it, like you were saying.
In a very objective sense, you could probably define creativity as this like pursuit of one's imagination to create ideas.
Yeah.
But I think the best way of putting it would be to go and ask, how often do you feel hungry?
Multiple times a day.
Multiple times a day. And what is that feeling like?
Annoying.
It's annoying, kind of gets at you.
Yeah, crabby.
And so how do you satiate that?
Well, then you go and eat.
You go and eat.
Yeah.
Creativity is a lot like that process of learning to eat, for the most part. At the very beginning, you're like a baby on milk, and it's this idea that you'll have these ideas occasionally.
Right.
And then those will build out into tiny little scribbles, which is like you beginning to go and get your solid foods.
Yeah.
And then you develop that into actually being able to eat full meals, and then you're hungry and you can't stop eating.
Yeah.
And you become fat with ideas.
I like that. No, that's fair. I think because I'll get if I haven't made something in a while, I genuinely feel like frustrated.
Yes.
Like I feel like a tension.
Exactly.
Where it's like, why haven't I done something?
It's a feeling which once you start to feel, you can never truly satiate.
No, yeah, I'm finding that more and more because I've been like very purposefully like setting time aside to draw, and what is like happening so far is like when I'm done with work or seeing people and I have like a moment of like downtime, I'm like, okay, so now we're gonna do it.
Right.
Like we're gonna get back to drawing, and then I'll be happy again. Yeah, I guess in that sense it's become like eating.
Yeah,
I like that.
It's something which you just almost need to do.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
But,
then this sort of like ties into back what you were saying about the emotions, and maybe this is me trying to like poke into that a little bit more. Is there something specific about yourself that you like putting into your art?
Well, it is me.
It is you as a whole.
Yeah, it is a genuine part of me.
Yeah.
When I write, it's like this feeling sometimes of happiness, of distraught, but it's leaving the page. It's going out of me onto this piece of work.
Yeah.
And then that emotion is what you try to go and capture.
Yeah.
It's like running through a field and grabbing a butterfly and sticking it to a piece of paper. Right?
Yeah.
You run through your own mind, you grab that idea, stick it on paper.
And stick it on paper and just go with it.
Exactly. And then other people, they can come along, they can see your butterfly collection. And you're like, oh, I like that one. Very pretty.
That one. Okay. See, I think very differently then in that sense. To me, I think I like a more structured approach to art making. Right. I think probably because the types of art that I enjoy most require a lot of like time and like planning and a lot of thinking, and like if I'm going to relate it to often like historical context or like literary happenings, whatever, then I actually need to like have that structured process.
Yeah.
So then when I do things like sketching, crikey, even in that situation, usually what I'll do is like if I'm in the moment, I'll see something. I went on a walk yesterday and I saw this like fallen over log and I took a photo of it. I made my friend pause so I could take a photo of the log because I was like, I'm going to draw that later.
And how did that one turn out?
I haven't done it yet because I did this yesterday, but
rubbish.
You know, God is my witness.
It'll be up on the video, right?
It'll be up on the video.
Right now. It's gonna...
on the screen. Ooh, that'll only make me do it. But
no, I honestly have a bit of a different approach. It's almost like it kind of spews out of you.
Yeah.
And then it forms this puddle, and then people can look at that puddle and go, "It's art.
It's art.
It's art."
You're not trying to make sense of the puddle.
No, but that's the thing. The puddle can be in different shapes.
Puddle, yeah, I suppose a puddle is a puddle.
It's a puddle. Puddle's a puddle.
And we know it by its name because that's what we've given it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's essentially creativity in my aspect.
Then what influences you in that sense? Like, is there something that sort of like brought you into that? Are there things that fall into that frame of field?
From a structural point of view, I'd think that my inspiration comes from the great poets of old. People like Wordsworth and Keats, and occasionally Byron, people like that. As well as that, I do quite like some lyricists. I mean, Paul Simon's work is a great inspiration. Bob Dylan, when you actually look at his work again, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
But I think from a creative perspective, it's life.
And just the being of it.
Yeah, I mean, if you said, when you walk through a forest or something and you see a fallen log, you're like, I'm gonna draw that.
Now that, you're like, that's art, that's beauty.
That's art, that's the puddle, right? The puddle is the art.
The puddle's the art,
yeah. But I think when it comes down to actual living and how that then approaches me from a creative aspect, it's very much from my history. I grew up in a reasonably working class family. We never went on holiday. But we did grow up semi-countryside. So I would spend most of my time off in fields somewhere, or pinning
butterflies.
Exactly, canning the butterflies, and but never started a collection. Mine's bumblebees. No. But no, and then it would be all of that kind of like aspect of nature, which is what I started to write about when I started.
Yeah, which then makes sense why you're like Keats, Yeats, Byron.
Exactly, that kind of romanticism. And then as that developed and grew, I ended up flying off to Germany as my first commercial flight.
Wait, that was the first time you flew?
First time I flew commercially, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And I, of course, went for the woman who I loved. And she didn't speak a word of German despite being in Germany for about a month.
Classic English.
American, actually.
Oh.
One of you. Yeah. But yeah, we had this time where we were just looking after diabetic cats.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, like, to love and loss and then love again. It's this feeling which we really came together, broke apart, came back together, and it's just... It's almost as if I lived an entire lifetime in just that short time in which we had.
Right.
I mean, on the plane ride back, I was speaking to the air hostess, and I had a full-on conversation about it. She went and at some point throughout the flight, was like, "Oh, I got a headache. Do you mind if I go sit down?" It's like one of the other air hostesses. And it's fine. She came down, she sat next to me, she asked me the rest of the story. Also on that flight, I wrote one of my favourite poems.
Did you?
Yeah, I still, to this day, think it's absolutely beautiful.
Is it the one about the loud silence, or a different one?
No, a different one.
Okay.
No, It goes, however beauty brought me to tears, to be upon an alpine hilltop. To gaze upon that mass of rocks laden with pine, so candidly they dream of winter, where another layer of inconspicuity may fall upon her. And it expands from that, but I'm not going to give away the whole thing, so it's not published. But no,
Someone have to pay for that one later.
exactly, yeah, you're going to pay the rest.
Oh no, that is beautiful though. Jamie and I went and we saw the. It's not called the Appalachian Mountains. That's in the U.S.
Oh, of course.
The Alps, just
Yeah.
the Alps. Is the Appalachian Mountains the long version of the Alps?
No.
No.
The Appalachians actually run up into the Scottish Highlands.
Oh, as well.
Yeah, because Scotland broke away from that area.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's why it's not. That's why it's called the Appalachian Mountains in the U.S. Yeah, it's full of Scots, such as myself. Hence the paleness. Yeah.
I know it.
No, that's actually like a really, I don't know, an apt retelling of how like I remember the Alps being. So that's actually that's quite beautiful. But that you see it right in that moment, and you're like, this is the thing that I'm ingesting,
Of course.
from being there.
Yeah.
And then in the process then of flying home and telling the air hostess everything that's happened to you, you're like, oh,
Again,
this is the puddle I'm going to create.
I feel sometimes when it comes down to creativity and inspiration, sometimes people get too caught up in life to start living.
Yes.
As in the sense of how many people will have stories like that? I mean, there's probably a few, but I mean, I
Well,
try
that's the
my
thing.
best
Nobody
to
ever
keep doing as many
says
as I can.
them. That's the
That's
thing,
it.
right?
It's about getting those kind of stories down
Yeah.
as a memory.
Yeah.
Some people paint, some people take pictures, I write.
Yeah. No, that's true. I mean, I think that's one of the things like I'm trying hard to build in my own art practice, but also just in the way that I communicate with people. Because historically, I was always very much like a closed book. And then I was like, well, actually, I love it when people tell me about their lives. So why am I not doing the same? Like, why am I not expressing the things that I have found so enjoyable? But then it's a learned skill, like I will say. Like poetry is definitely a great way of expanding that because you are physically putting it into words. Painting is a bit more abstract with like how you can storytell. But
I don't know, unless you're Blake, of course.
unless you're Blake, of course. It's true. Then he has like it all put in. But yeah, I mean, I think even because like when I write, I'm not typically like writing for other people. I'm usually writing for like self-processing. And so though that is, I think, helping with my storytelling, and it is helping with my storytelling, I just like, it's a hard pursuit to like go for and like want to be like a person who can sit in a room and like genuinely like converse with other people. Especially, I don't know if you had the same thing of like growing up quite shy and like, cause I remember you telling me of like being in a large group makes it like very hard to.
I don't really know how to deal with large groups. I'm not very good at this. I can do myself and one other person. That's about it.
I have like a cap of about like maybe like 2 people, and then it's just like silence. Immediately silence. But we're growing.
No. I suppose you got to walk before you can run. You got to talk to yourself before you can talk to others.
Other people. Actually, fair enough. I mean, that's what people say is dating advice, isn't it? So you gotta love yourself.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Before you can love other people, which is probably a bit bullshit, but you gotta be able to tell a story before you can share it with somebody else.
Definitely.
That's a bit more. You can go with that one.
You should be a poet. No, okay.
Absolutely not. You. I was gonna say lost a book. That's not true. Your book was stolen like a year ago.
Yep.
Did it have that poem in it?
Yeah, it was about 3 or 4 years worth of work.
Yeah.
And everything. Even one of my favorite poetry books, which wasn't mine, because it was also the day in which there was a book club happening at work, and I went, oh, okay, I'll bring in my favorite books to show everyone so we can choose a book. And it was okay.
All
got stolen.
book.
Yeah,
Like,
I had 3 books. I grabbed 3 books, and they all got stolen right after. But my poetry, it was all in there, including that one poem. But luckily, literally about a month beforehand, I'd never started doing poetry recitals or anything like that beforehand.
Oh, really? Okay.
But when September rolled around, I was like, okay, I'll give it a go. I was actually asked by Harry here to just give it a go.
Yeah.
And I remember just being so worried that I wrote an entire poem about whether or not I'll go up on that stage. And I then performed that one first of all.
That's sweet.
But yeah, it was in there. But of course, because I remembered it as my favorite poem, I remembered it completely.
Yeah.
And so I managed to get it written
Like
back
actually
down.
written back down again. Okay, good.
It was that and one other poem, I believe.
That you remembered.
Yeah, that I remembered off my heart.
Okay.
And then very depressing one actually, but it's.
But you liked it. It meant something to you.
Exactly.
Oh, what a terrible way to kill your darlings.
Well, I believe was it Picasso who went and said if you love something, truly love the process of doing it, tear it up and do it again.
That's such a risk, though.
I know.
Oh, because that pokes at like the fact that we are so fallible as people. Like our memories are so fallible.
Yeah.
That I often feel like if I don't have a record of something, like
You just forget it.
I'll just forget it.
That's why you do your art.
That's why you do your art. No, exactly. But then you can re-remember it in different ways, and that itself is also a reflection of how you are in that new moment.
Exactly.
That's true. Okay. Well, here you go. Last question for you. We'll wrap it up.
All right. To wrap up.
Would you like to grow your art into something bigger? You say you're going. So you started doing performances. Is that the right word for it?
I did performances.
And you're doing this fair coming up. Do you want to write a little book? What are you thinking? What's on the horizon?
Well, I mean, I'm technically already write little books. That's the whole point of my thing. But no, it's
A curated book. You know what I mean?
I don't know. Yeah, there's a lot of rubbish in here, but I think every creative would want to pursue their creativity.
Yeah.
It's just the trouble is, life's expensive,
Oh my god.
and living's even more so.
Yeah.
And if I want to continue to be creative, I need to continue to not live life, but to live.
Yeah. Which takes time.
Exactly.
So these are all, then you're saying, kind of long-term goals for you. Like do they sit comfortably as a long-term goal?
Yeah, I mean, maybe when I'm old and retired, I can start releasing anthologies, but it's not something which I can pursue. I mean, I'm no Keats, so I don't think pursuing with everything I've got will be a very smart move. I mean, Keats himself died at, 26?
Oh yeah, I forgot he died that
TV,
young.
yeah.
Well, at least you're not doing
At least we're
that.
not getting TV, right?
Knock on wood. It's fun. Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Did you have fun?
I believe so.
Good. I've had a lot of fun.
That's good.
It's been fun to poke into this because you've
Exactly.
told me so many things just over the last couple of years that I've known you. So it's nice to kind of bring it all together.
Exactly, yeah. Just to really dive into that kind of creative pursuit.
Yeah.
But no, it's good. Yeah. And don't forget to read some Blake.
I absolutely will. Thank you very much. I will. It will be fine, but I will really enjoy all the imagery actually, because I kind of love that.
Exactly, it's so beautiful.
That you combined
my
both.
favorite is the tiger because it looks constipated, and in color even better.
You can really see the pain of
I know.
constipation.
Constipated tiger.
All right. Well, let's. On that note, we'll cut it there.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thanks for watching.
What are you doing? You just put a bunch of leaves in the cup. There's nothing in there. You meant to use this.